Welcome to the Penny Bloom Podcast. Ain't another place that has got more bombast. Romp past your mom, dads, listening to Tomcats, talking everything that make you sad. We don't want that. We're here to make you smile. Put your mind at ease. Peace, love, and bloom, and always praise Keanu Reeves. This what we about. This some weeding now. We'll talk until we can't no more, and then we peacing out. Alright, let's go. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. It's the Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast. Penny Bloom Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome in to the Penny Bloom Podcast. And today we begin a wonderful endeavor. We are beginning our top 100 favorite movies ever. Now, we are coming with two separate lists, mine, Colton Robertson's, and my friend Joseph George. What's up, buddy?
Oh, what up, what up? Always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. So, as always with our top 100s, we have two separate lists, my top 100 and Joe's top 100. And we've done this with Star Wars characters a couple of times now. We've done this with comic book characters. This is the first time we're doing it with movies. And I'm so excited that we're doing it with movies. I've been building this list for months in anticipation of this project, to the point where it got to 200 movies, and now I have to whittle it down to half that, which is a pain, and it hurts to see them go. But there can only be 100. Now, like I said, favorites. This is not based on what we think are the top 100 best movies of all time. That is not the case. I don't think I'm equipped to be able to tell you what I think the best 100 movies of all time are. I know for a fact I can tell you 100 movies that I love watching, though. Yeah. You know, and this list changes daily. I've been editing this for months, every week, just moving shit around. But since we are beginning this project, it is the 100 for the next few weeks that I'm going to stick to. And, you know, this is a highly revisitable topic because, like I said, I have 200 movies that on any given day might find their way up in there.
And I think that's the very nature of this list is, does even a real top 100 movies of all time list even exist, really?
Because it's all subjective.
Yeah, it's wildly different for everybody. So
there's no objectivity, so there's no reason to approach it with objectivity. You know, like we should embrace what we enjoy watching, and I'm not going to have anyone tell me that I'm wrong for it, because I'm not. I like these movies. You can't tell me I don't like these movies. So we're going to talk about these movies. And that's how it's going to go. We are going to do this in 10 parts. We got 10 parts coming your way for each set of 10. We're going to do 100 through 90 here. Next, also today, we're doing the first two parts, 90s and 80s. Then the 70s and 60s next week. And then for 5 weeks after that, the 50s, 40s, 30s, 20s, teens, and top 10. So I think that's actually 6 weeks. But several weeks here where we're going to be taking you through our top 100 favorite movies. And I'm so excited for it because I just love so many of these movies, man. So I'm so ready to talk about them. But yeah, we got it. It was hard to leave some out. Do you want to start with some honorable mentions? The ones that fell right outside the cusp. They were right there, but they didn't quite get there.
And some for me were just, I haven't actually seen them yet, but I had them in my, it was weird. Like the Lord of the Rings. I know if I actually watched that movie, it would be in my list of top 100. I just have to assume, but I haven't seen it, so it's not in there. And a lot of movies in the 52-year journey through film, that just didn't make it. Even, I don't know, Goodfellas. A lot of people love that movie. Just didn't make my list. It was close.
Ooh.
Yeah, I know. And then Breakfast Club.
I'm so excited for the
American Graffiti. Yeah, I mean, there's I was debating. It is in here. Godfather is in mine, but I was I don't know. For me personally, I don't know if The Godfather's actually in my top. And then I'm okay, no.
And that's the beauty of this list, man. That's the beauty of this list. The Breakfast Club also didn't quite find its way into my top 100. It's one of those movies that for probably my entire high school experience, I regarded as my favorite movie of all time. And as I get older and the more that movie ages, I like it less and less as time passes, which is kind of bizarre. It's such an interesting relationship to art. The like older you get, the more things become refined. And, you know, there's a few things in that movie that, you know, they just haven't aged particularly well. So
Yeah.
stuff like that, you know, there comes a line where no matter how much you enjoy a movie, you start to realize its faults. And The Breakfast Club was one of those for me. It doesn't quite fall in my top 100. A few of the ones that I left out also, Dunkirk. Love Dunkirk, but
Wow.
Dunkirk did
Okay.
not quite make the 100. It's at 103. So it is
Dang.
like, it was right there.
Wow.
The Irishman, Martin Scorsese, Bob De Niro. I love that movie. And that's the thing. I love every single movie on this list. It didn't get added to this list for me to edit unless I absolutely adore the movie. So like,
Yeah.
Emily, a movie we saw earlier this year called Joyride, which is one of my favorite comedies of all time, very instantly. It finds itself at about 150 on this list.
Wow.
And Emily was like, so what, like, so you didn't like it? And I'm like, no, there's at least 300 other movies I've watched that didn't make this list. You know, like it's notable.
Not a single movie on the list that I'm like, well, I just had to slide this one in here to get to 100. It's like, no, I mean, all of them, like my first 10, I will preface, they're very early childhood movies for me. And I kind of wanted to start that way as like, these are movies that I just watched over and over and over as a kid. And they like legitimately, I don't know, like kind of, some of them like shaped my life. Like, I mean, like decisions I made like as a kid, like small decisions, but like, I don't know, like a lot of these movies I watched over and over for that reason. I don't know. I was just obsessed with them as a kid. Either I'd watch them with my siblings or my parents or something like that. But I don't know. That's kind of my first 10. I kind of had a little fun trip down memory lane for my first 10.
I like that. I've got those kind of spliced in here. Every once in a while, I let one get through. That's just like, that holds a special place in my heart, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Few more didn't quite make it. Notable superhero movies. Avengers Endgame, not on my top 100.
Okay.
That is not on my top 100. One superhero movie that I love, that like I really wanted in here, but I couldn't justify putting it above anything else, is actually Birds of Prey. The Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. I love that movie. I can watch it infinitely, but there's 100 other movies that at least that I think I'd watch sooner. So like, it's just a bizarre choice to make. I don't have any Rocky movies. I love the Rocky movies. I don't have any Evil Dead movies. I have one John Wick movie. I love John Wick, and I only have one John Wick movie. So like, the limiting that you have to do here is it's incredibly difficult. But if you would like to take us into the project, we can start with your 100.
All right. And I'm starting, I noticed quite the theme is that a lot of these movies have to deal with space. And I didn't mean for that, but then I'm like kind of looking through and I'm like, man, every episode, there's at least one that deals with space for me. But it's directed by Jon Favreau, called Zathura, a space adventure. And this, I don't know, this is, I think, the movie that got me like obsessed with space. Right. And I remember watching it over and over because, I mean, it's about two brothers. They
Josh Hutcherson.
Josh Hutcherson and Jonah Bobo are the two brothers. We have Andy Dufresne is the dad. Tim Robbins. He's the dad. Kristen Stewart is even in here as like the older sister that doesn't believe in it at first and everything. So yeah, like I didn't know it was directed by Jon Favreau until just now.
There you go.
Pretty cool. But it came out in 2005. That's a common year for a lot of this. It's early 2000s.
Yeah, big year there.
But I don't know. I just love like as a kid, I always thought that like there's something that unlocks whenever you reach like 16 or 18 that we just don't know yet. Like, I don't know, maybe like there's some secret about the world or there's something, I don't know, crazy going on. And like movies like this where like two kids get to figure out something that the rest of the world doesn't believe in. Like it's this video game or this board game that literally like transports them into space and a bunch of weird stuff just starts happening. And then like their sister doesn't believe in it at first. Their dad's like, oh, he's just gone for a lot of it. But like,
it's like Space Jumanji.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. And obviously like you know, my house never got teleported into space, you know, as a kid, but like just playing with my brother, like random games we played, like our imaginations just ran wild, and we would, I don't know, it's like we believed in that, and that's just like what we did as a kid. And this is, I don't know, I like space, and I like movies where like kids get thrown into this crazy,
they get
like
to headline shit.
Yeah. And I don't know, it just made me feel really good as a kid.
Man, big one for me in that vein. I'd be interested to see if you have this. If you do, I'd be astonished. You've never ever mentioned it to me. But Dr. Seuss's Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers. Yeah, fuck yeah, baby.
We will get to that this episode. Actually,
yes,
yeah,
we will. Okay, then I'll save it because I love that one. Zathura, that's one I haven't seen in fucking years. If ever, actually, that might be one I never made it all the way around to. But now that you mention it, I might have to revisit it. You know, you got a younger brother in the house. See how much it resonates with him and stuff. See if I might show it to him. But
I guarantee it's one of those movies that you watch as a kid and it seems grand and crazy and like unbelievable, but then you go back and watch it, like, I don't know, like our age, and it might not be quite the movie it was. But yeah, I mean, it's been a while since I've even rewatched it, so I don't know. That's just, it's always held that just place in my heart is just like I don't know, the first time I ever got to really be like, space is pretty fucking cool.
Right.
But yeah.
I love that. Yeah. Well, I'm starting with a movie that is, as of this year, 85 years old.
Okay.
I'm beginning with Bringing Up Baby, 1938, directed by Howard Hawks. This one has a couple of huge names that you've almost certainly heard but never had the chance to encounter, and Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant. They headline this sort of screwball comedy where Katharine Hepburn's character actually adopts a leopard and names it Baby. And so the movie is about bringing up Baby. And it's wacky, it's zany, it's aged certainly, but not nearly as bad as you would anticipate for a 1938 film. Yeah. You know, like I don't know, I just kind of associate things that happened before 1950 with almost certainly terrible shit. And this one, it's aged rather well. I loved Katharine Hepburn and Cary Grant have just an impeccable chemistry, and Katharine Hepburn is a recurring actress on this list. She'll be in a few movies in my top 100. Howard Hawks, a recurring director. This won't even be the last Howard Hawks movie in this episode. So I enjoy the movie a great deal, and if you want to broaden your horizons into some older American cinema, the screwball comedies as put forth by Howard Hawks are a pretty decent place to start. Bringing Up Baby is extremely funny and cute. It's just cute, you know. Yeah. So like I strongly recommend something like that. So Bringing Up Baby comes in at my 100.
I don't know why. I always just think that if it's old, it can't be good. I don't know. Like I'm not sure why, but like humans,
it's something you got to open your mind to. For sure.
I think it's like, I mean, sure, there probably were some bad movies that were made back then, but there's 1, really shit movies that are being made today.
Exactly.
So it's like yeah, there's always going to be great movies, like no matter what time period it is. Like humans were always, I don't know, we're still humans, even if it was.
Yeah, theater is one of the acting is one of the oldest professions. We've storytelling, entertaining. It's one of those things that it goes back centuries. So like naturally, as soon as we could capture that on camera. It elevated storytelling, you know. So like Bringing Up Baby, 1938. I don't know. It might be the oldest movie on my list.
Yeah, I don't have many old ones. I'd say like maybe the 60s might be my.
I got
oldest.
some 60s. I got some 40s. Got some 50s. I think 38. I think 38 does make this my oldest movie on the list, clocking in at 100. So,
yeah. I need to watch some more old movies because I don't know.
I've been getting into that, man, and it's so much fun. like it's just it feels like another world almost because times have changed so much. And
that's like kind of what films and cinema is kind of about, like preservation of the times. Like I think is like some movies, they're made completely fiction and not even trying to capture the time. But it is really cool when you can watch a movie that is like pretty in the now, and like it's like, oh, that's how people lived like back, like I don't know, that's just what the world used to be like. And even if it is fiction or something like that, it's like that's what they thought of as science fiction at the time, you know, and maybe some of that science fiction stuff is real today, or
has
like
has come to fruition. Yeah, no, Bringing Up Baby, it's just a screwball comedy, you know. I love a lot of the comedy beats in it. Katharine Hepburn plays the zany woman who is just bothering the shit out of Cary Grant, and it's just they get up to random hijinks. It's like an extended episode of a sitcom, which is like I love shit like that. So Bringing Up Baby at 100 is how I'm gonna kick off my list.
All right. Well, continuing mine, I'm going with like kind of a Christmas movie that me and my brother watched the crap out of. And I don't think a lot of people, I don't know, this doesn't seem like a popular movie, but me and my brother, we love the crap out of it. And it's 1996, Jingle All the Way, directed by Brian
Arnold.
Yeah, Arnold, directed by Brian Levant, I think is maybe how you say it.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's just a Christmas movie about a kid who really, really wants Turbo Man, an action figure that's being sold out everywhere, and Arnold Schwarzenegger has to go around to every store trying to find one, or has to get one for his son, and can't find it anywhere. He eventually becomes Turbo Man, and it's the best present that he could have even given his kid. Yeah. But I don't know. I think like this was like, I remember just me and my brother, like we thought it was like one of the funniest movies too. Like we would just laugh so, like I don't know. It's just the more situational comedy, I think, is what it is, you know. But also just like even looking back on it, like the story is actually pretty cute, and like I feel like I might even like tear up a little bit now if I watched it.
Man, this was a yearly viewing when I was younger. Every Christmas we would watch Jingle All the Way. I have a notable lack of Christmas movies on my list. Didn't even really occur to me, but there are almost certainly a few that would have belonged here. And Jingle All the Way, I don't know if it quite would have made it, but I loved that movie when I was younger, man. That's a good one. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's certainly got his vein.
Yeah.
I don't think he gets enough credit though, modernly. Obviously he got his flowers when he got his flowers, like he was a fucking movie star.
I think most people know him as like Terminator, Predator, just the big bad dude,
action hero.
Like, But Jingle All the Way, like, he barely does any action in this really at all. Like other than when he's, I guess, flying as Turbo Man a little bit, but like even that, it's not really action like Arnold Schwarzenegger action that you would think of.
Yeah, like Kindergarten Cop. I don't know if that's one you're familiar with. I think that's
I don't have it on here, but yeah.
Arnold's got a storied career, and I think that while he got his flowers in his heyday, I think a lot of people our age and younger, they're just never going to appreciate Arnold Schwarzenegger the way that he probably should have been at one point. No, I love that. I love that at 99. Little Christmas spirit there for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
At my 99, I'm dipping for the first time into some of our director's spotlights recently.
Okay.
This is where I have Bottle Rocket, 1996, directed by Wes Anderson. And Wes Anderson has every film in his filmography on my top 100. This just happens to be the lowest. Love that man, and I love his work. And Bottle Rocket was such a great way to start his career. Owen Wilson and Luke Wilson launching their careers as well. We have a whole episode on it relatively recently, so I won't spend a ton of time on it. But I just love the way it shows those flashes of what Wes Anderson would become. It began that working relationship between Robert Yeoman and Wes Anderson, which has become his very consistent cinematography partner. And Owen Wilson, a very consistent acting and writing partner there. I just adore what this movie did for the future, You know, the future of Wes Anderson and the way it launches his career, and he's grown to become probably my favorite director there is. So like,
Oh yeah.
that's more than anything. It's because it got him on that path that this is here. It's also fucking hilarious. So like, I had to get Bottle Rocket in here somehow. It only made the cut after I made some. I did some consolidating of franchise movies later on, is all I'll say. And we'll get there when we get there. But Bottle Rocket here at 99. I was feeling confident about it. I love that movie, and I love Wes Anderson. I love Owen Wilson. So Bottle Rocket coming in at 99.
Yeah, I got it in a little bit. I have all of Wes's movies as well in mind, but it's not my bottom Wes movie actually. Pretty close between the two. But yeah, I love Bottle Rocket. I'll get to it in a couple episodes actually.
Cool.
But yeah, I guess moving on to 98. I have 2009's Aliens in the Attic, another kind of movie, directed by John Schultz. This one, I think I developed a crush for Ashley Tisdale. I mean, High School Musical, and then like this was like another one that I think like a childhood crush, and then also me and a lot of these lower 10 movies are just like movies I guess I watch with my brother all the time. But I remember we used to laugh so much at this movie. Like there's a scene where Robert Hoffman, he plays, I don't know, just Ashley Tisdale's boyfriend in this one, and he gets shot in the nuts with a paintball gun. A couple of times, and like we found that as like one of the funniest things of all time when we were kids. But no, the actual like story of like just 3 aliens crashing down in the attic, and then the little kids are the only ones that find them, and the adults don't believe in them at all. Kind of like a similar vein of Zathura a little bit. Where kids get to take charge, and but there are some like the adults. I'm trying to think.
Kevin Nealon is in that movie. I'm pretty sure.
Tim Meadows, Andy. Is it Richter?
Richter.
Yeah.
Andy Richter, Tim Meadows. Man, that had a cast on it. Robert Hoffman, I'm pretty sure what I know him from is She's the Man. I fucking loved She's the Man because my mom loved She's the Man, so I would watch that with her all the time with Amanda Bynes. But man, I forgot about Aliens in the Attic. That was such a good, like when I was 9, man, I was eating that shit up. Yeah.
There's one of the kids in it. I don't know who he's played by. But there was it was Carter Jenkins is his name. He was kind of like the nerdier older brother, and then there was Austin Butler. He played kind of the cool guy, like the.
Oh well, fuck yeah, he did. That's Elvis right there, baby.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay, that's kind of nuts. But yeah, Elvis played the fucking cool guy, and I wanted to be him so bad. Like I'm like, man, that dude's just so cool. He was the one who had the paintball gun. He had like all the cool stuff. But then like the nerdy brother. Played by Carter Jenkins. I wonder if I know him from anything else.
Now, Austin Butler's a goddamn Academy Award nominee now from Aliens in the Attic. I remember I discovered him from Zoe 101. That was when I became familiar with Austin Butler.
What was he in Zoe 101?
I'm pretty sure he was just one of the guys who I think he might have dated Zoe for a very brief period of time. But he was not a regular cast member. I think he came in later seasons. But yeah, I remember just being like, Austin fucking, whenever he got cast as Elvis, I was like, I've been watching that man since I was like 5, cause he's just, he was a child actor who was in a bunch of shit when we were kids, so like, Aliens in the Attic, man, that's a fun one. I forgot about that.
And one of those aliens is like the cutest little alien. Like he's like, I don't know. There's one that's like the leader and he's kind of general, like, kind of ugly looking. And I think like one's a girl who's kind of just like a badass like ninja alien that just can do anything. But then there's one that's just kind of like this innocent little boy alien that doesn't really know what's going on, and he's just, I don't know. He was always my favorite one, just like this little cute big eyes. But yeah, just another fun movie that I used to find as one of the funniest movies of all time. But I go back and probably, I don't know. It will be interesting to like if I get around to all of these again, like what I think of them now versus what I thought of it back in 2009 whenever this came out.
That's the key to those movies, though. You just got to put
Mhm.
yourself back in that mindset.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to let
Oh,
it
yeah.
get
Nah,
too hard. But no, I
no.
love that. Aliens in the Attic, man. I haven't thought about that in fucking years. I dig it. I dig it. So I'll go on to my 98, and we're back with Howard Hawks once again, who is the director of Bringing Up Baby. This one is Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, 1953,
A Maryland
directed by
movie.
Howard Hawks. Yes.
Glad we got one of them in there because I
This
didn't have
is
any.
my favorite Marilyn Monroe movie. I love me some Marilyn Monroe, and I actually mentioned that Birds of Prey was just outside of my top 100. And I actually watched Birds of Prey before I watched Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. So whenever Marilyn Monroe starts singing "A kiss on the hand might be quite continental, but diamonds are a girl's best friend," I was like, "That's where that's from," you know. Yeah, man. I love a musical, and this is a musical. You know, Marilyn Monroe and Jane Russell teaming up to, you know, find a husband, basically.
That's
and
right.
then doing
Okay. Oh, it's coming back to me. The story.
doing a nice little bait and switch between the two of them at the end there to pull it off. I absolutely adore it. I think it's such a funny, cute comedy, and obviously its ideals of womanhood have aged quite a bit, but it did come out in 1953, like I said, so it's only natural that it would have aged. And I think taking a step back and kind of removing yourself from that and kind of admiring the bag chasers in Marilyn Monroe, man. She's after that fucking moolah, baby, and it's hilarious. Meanwhile, you got Jane Russell, who's like, you know, she's trying to find love, you know, and I respect that too. There's like a whole music number where she's dancing and singing around a bunch of dudes working out.
Yep.
And yeah, it's very erotic for her. She wants a man she can love and be attracted to, and Marilyn Monroe is like, I will marry a 95-year-old man if he owns a diamond mine, baby. That's what I'll tell you.
Yeah, she plays the like, I'm gonna play dumb, but I'm not actually dumb.
Yeah,
like, really, I'm just gonna use it to, like, you know.
And that's one of the reasons I think it's like, you know, its ideals of womanhood are a bit archaic, but like it for the time, it was probably relatively forward thinking.
I know.
You know, like,
for 53 is out. Yeah, that when it came out. Yeah, that's a different world there.
Yeah, it's a whole different world, and I think that it's again, top 100. It's one that I love watching. I've watched it a couple times just this year, and I think it's I love me some Marilyn Monroe. I've been digging more and more into her filmography, and hopefully the next time we do this top 100, I could have a few more bumping up into the top 100. But you know, 7 Year Itch is a good one. I like that one a lot. It gave us the iconic imagery of her like holding down her white dress. There's a few goodies.
Yeah, not
Like
much of a bigger name in Hollywood of all time than Marilyn Monroe.
Some Like It Hot was another one that fell. I think it's at 106. So like it's like right outside there. So I love me some Marilyn Monroe, but Gentlemen Prefer Blondes is the one that I'm throwing in the top 100. Again, Howard Hawks, love him as a director. And that's
I love the switches that we're just seeing. We're going like, because I'm always jumping back to like a childhood movie, and like, I don't know, it's just funny to like go back and forth between these. But yeah, no, I guess I don't really have like I have some stretches where I go on like some similar movies, but nothing like a whole 10 that are all kind of the same. So this is kind of the only time it happens. But I'm going to 2006. That's where I'm going, and it's Over the Hedge, directed by Tim Johnson and Carrie Kirkpatrick or Kirkpatrick. That's
Kirkpatrick.
Patrick, yeah. But I don't know. Bruce Willis. He's RJ, the raccoon.
Yeah, man.
Wanda Sykes is in here. Steve Carell, William Shatner.
I actually watched that movie relatively recently because it got added to like Netflix or something.
Yeah, but I don't know. Another movie that I don't know what it was about this, but I mean, it was funny. But then I think like I wanted to be like RJ. I don't know why. Like, I don't know, this raccoon who knows everything. He's like smarter than like, I don't know. He has he's kind of like a go-go gadget. Like, I don't know. He just has something for every situation he's in his golf bag that he carries around with him. But I don't know. It's just, it was just like he's trying to get food for the bear, that he stole the wagon of at the very beginning of the movie, and he has to get all of it back for the bear or else he dies. But all these people don't, all the other animals don't know that, and he's just kind of conning them into it. But then he starts to care for him by the end of it, and he's like, no, what I'm doing is wrong, and this, I don't know, but, so I don't know, I think just another movie that we watched over and over as a kid. Yeah, it was 2006, so I mean, I'm like 6 years old, while watching this, and I thought the squirrel, let's see, who played what was the squirrel's name? He had rabies, or he was just crazy. He Hammy. Oh, it was Steve Carell. Okay, so yeah. But Steve Carell played Hammy, and whenever he had to pretend that he had rabies and go crazy, and they sprayed I don't know, whipped cream around his mouth or whatever to get him to go crazy. I don't know, we found that as one of the funniest things ever.
Yeah, that's a classic right there, man.
Yeah, I don't know, I love just another movie that I probably haven't seen in a good, I don't even know the last time I watched it.
Yeah, it was actually a couple months back for me. Emily's sister came to town. I can't remember what it was her and her partner, and they were here for some reason. I can't remember what it was, but they came back to our place, and we were playing Cards Against Humanity. We had Over the Hedge on the TV, and that was a couple months back. And that was the first time I'd watched it in probably at least a decade. That's a good one right there.
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I'm looking at just the pictures on IMDb. I can remember so many of these scenes perfectly in my head. Looking back on it now. I did not know the cast was kind of that stacked though.
No, it's an absurd cast.
Wow. Yeah. I had no idea. I just knew them all as animals. I don't know. I didn't even really know who these actors were at all when I was a kid.
Right.
But now looking at it, it's wow, that's kind of nuts. Avril Lavigne is in there. Yeah. Gary Shandling, what does he do? Is he just a comedian, I feel like? What? Oh, I know him from, okay, that's what I was thinking. Iron Man 2, he's the senator or something that's up on stage. Okay. Anyway, side thing. But yeah, Over the Hedge.
I'm going to stick with you animated wise for 97. This is where I have 2020's Soul. Directed by Pete Docter.
Okay,
I love me some Soul.
Wow, it should be in mine.
I'm astonished that it's not actually.
Wow, yeah, that's actually kind of. I don't know how I forgot about that. I think I went through my Pixar and stuff, and I already had a number that I'm okay, I don't really want to go above that. And maybe that's. Oh man, that's really sad. This is wow. Okay, I'm definitely going to start a list of ones that I should be here, and that's definitely one of them. Because wow, yeah, Soul's fucking amazing.
No, I love Soul, and that kind of sucks. I thought for sure I was giving it a lower thing because I thought for sure you'd have it because I know you love that movie.
That's so bad. Oh.
No, but I love Jamie Foxx. I love that movie, and it's just one of those that always makes me. One of those movies that makes you appreciate life a little bit, those life-affirming films.
The flow state that he gets.
Yeah, the flow state.
Everyone has their own kind of flow state, and it's different for everybody. And oh my God, I cried like a baby.
Dude, I love that movie.
I remember just going into it a new pick. It was out on Disney Plus, right?
Did it get straight to Disney Plus?
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm oh yeah, I saw it on the top banner a couple times, and I think you were you got to check out this movie, you got to see it.
Yeah.
And I'm yeah, okay, sure, I'll watch it. Just went in with sure, it's a new Pixar movie, and just came out a mess. I'm oh my God, what the fuck did I sign up for? I had
Pixar
no idea
movies
what I was
when we were younger were what if toys came to life? And Pixar movies when we're 20 are what do you think the afterlife is?
Literally, actually, that okay. I might just axe a movie up in I might have to add this in here because it is so bad that it's not in here.
Dude, I love Soul, man. It was actually very, very nearly our 2020 movie for our comic book movie journey through film. If you'll recall, we were very close to picking that for our 2020 movie. Ultimately went with Nomadland, which I think was the right choice. But I Yeah, you'll never hear a bad word out of my mouth about this movie. Tina Fey is extremely funny in it. I love me some Jamie Foxx. Daveed Diggs has a small voice role in it, and I love Daveed Diggs. I'm pretty sure. Oh shit, Angela Bassett has a role. I'm fairly certain. I think she's the. I think she's like Dorothea. She's the head of the band that he really wants to be. He really wants to be in. So like it's got a crazy cast on it. And I mean some beautiful animation. I love its contemplation of what the afterlife is, like the Pablo Picasso inspired sort of entities that run the afterlife. Like that's really, really cool. Actually, having watched A Matter of Life and Death the other night, almost certainly an influence on that movie. 100% an influence on Soul.
Man, there are some shots in Soul that are wow. Like
gorgeous,
thinking back,
dude.
yeah.
Some of the something that I think Pixar needs to get better at is revamping their animation style. Everything from Pixar kind of has the same look. Feel. And I think they've done a good job at branching out from that at points with Soul. Like whenever they are like that shit where they're in the void between the afterlife and life, the stairway up there, like
looking at it right now. That's
gorgeous.
Exactly the first picture I went to on IMDb. Yeah.
Like it's one of those times where I feel like Pixar has really actually branched out in their style, and I really, really like that shit. So I had to go Soul. Had to give Pixar some love. I don't think I have another Pixar movie on my list. Actually, I think this is actually the peak of the mountain for me.
I think I know why it's not in here. I think I just went to like the Pixar movies and I just scrolled down to like my childhood years. I went back to like the early 2000s to see like where I stacked those movies, and maybe I didn't look towards the top of the list because I don't know. I just didn't think that they had. I don't know how I forgot about it, but I'm very pissed at myself. And I think I may have an alteration inbound. I don't know what movie might be getting I don't know if I should even do that. I don't know. Maybe I should just hold true, but I don't know. I think one movie's gonna kind of have to get the axe because anyway, but man, I'll do some thinking on that, but because it would probably be in a couple episodes at least.
Yeah, right.
So it's going to have to be kind of a better movie that has to get axed because of it, but I think it should deserve it. But man, okay. Well, that started way too early. A movie, like I was worried about that, a movie that I was like, oh, damn, how is that not in here?
Right.
And it's already started at freaking the fourth movie you say. But anyway, continuing on, I think we're on, 96? It's, I think maybe my second and last Christmas movie. But this is where I have 2004, The Polar Express. Directed by Robert Zemeckis? Zemeckis, yeah, but Tom Hanks.
Very, very notable director, as I believe he also did Forrest Gump.
Oh, yeah, Forrest Gump, Back to the Future. This dude's got...
Robert Zemeckis has a career on him. Castaway.
Monster
House. A lot of Tom Hanks collaboration with Robert Zemeckis.
Castaway. There. Wow, yeah. Okay.
Denzel Washington movie in The Flight.
Okay. But yeah, okay. I'm learning, I don't know, a lot of directors' names through this. That'll be nice that I could just finally put a name behind all these movies I watched so many times. But I don't know, I just kind of another yearly watch along with Jingle All the Way. Polar Express, I find myself like Jingle All the Way. I don't think we watched every year, but I kind of stopped at some point, maybe when I was, I don't know, probably like high school time or maybe like around there. But Polar Express, I would still watch every single year, no matter what, pretty much. Like it's hard pressed if I don't find myself watching Polar Express one year. And I don't know, I love, like, the older I'm getting, like Tom Hanks, like, just his performance in this is just actually kind of nuts, like, the voice acting he does. As, like, I didn't know he was the hobo at the top, like the guy on top of
right.
the train that he gets to. He just does a lot of voices in the movie, I guess.
Tom Hanks is wonderful, man.
Yeah, and looking at, let's see, Chris Coppola.
Chris Coppola.
Is that like related to Francis Ford or no?
If there is a Coppola, it's almost certainly related to that Coppola.
He's the toothless boy. I think is that the annoying guy? Oh no, that's Know It All. Eddie Dean's in. Never mind. The toothless boy. Who's that? Toothless boy?
I can't remember.
Like the second name. Is that the main character? I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who Toothless Boy would be. But anyway, I don't know. Polar Express is just kind of a Christmas classic, and like hot chocolate. That was like one of my favorite scenes just of all time. Like as a kid, I would just put on Polar Express. It probably would have been the VHS at the time. Yeah, 2004. And I would just try to find that hot chocolate scene all the time. And I don't know. That's a banger. I mean, still to this day.
That's one I've got to argue for in like every year when Christmas comes around. My family, like it's a hit or miss for a lot of people. Yeah. You either really like Polar Express or you do not like watching Polar Express. I love Polar Express, man. My family doesn't like Polar Express. I've got to try my best to get them to watch that shit.
Whenever they get to like the North Pole, or whenever it's like someone's just believing in the spirit of Christmas, and you just get that like the theme, like is it who? I feel like someone big did this theme for some reason, like the music. But I don't. Maybe not. Let's see if I can find the composer. Oh, Alan Silvestri. I guess
Alan Silvestri. He did the Avengers.
Back to the Future. I guess as well. But just like the like choir voices, like the like just that. Like I don't know. I loved the music in the Polar Express. I was just obsessed with it, and like the bells, you can only hear them if you believe. You know, like I don't know. There's just a lot of just
hearing them.
Yeah, there's just a lot of like really cool. Like you've always wanted to see what the North Pole was like, and like how all those presents, you know, the big bag that all the presents were just like wrapped in. I don't know, just like a really cool, just Christmas
that is a
things,
fun fucking movie, man. All aboard!
Yeah, the ticket, and it's like a different word for everybody, but how fast he can do it, and how just like I don't know, was sick. But yeah, I love the Polar Express, and I'll argue for it every single year. But I watch it just myself personally.
Oh, yeah. I end up having
my
to
own for sure, but yeah.
No, I love that. God, great movie. Not on mine. Kind of wish it was, but I love the Polar Express. My 96, I'm taking it to a romance movie here.
Okay.
With Moonstruck, 1987, directed by Norman Jewison. It's starring Cher and Nick Cage in the leading roles. And
not what I expected whatsoever.
Cannot recommend this movie highly enough, man. I watched it for the first time this year, just a couple months back. Me and Emily were staying in a hotel. They had this little like bathtub in the corner that you could still see the TV. So I sat and soaked in a fucking bathtub the entire time I watched Moonstruck, and it was potentially the greatest fucking movie experience I've ever had in my life.
Damn, I also watched 42-minute bath right there. That's cool.
I also watched Top Secret starring Val Kilmer that night. Not in the bath, but also watched Top Secret.
Wow.
Nah, man, I've loved Cher's music for years. I adore Cher. And she won a Best Actress Oscar for this movie.
Wow.
And it's one of my favorite Nick Cage performances. I love Cher. I just don't think I'm hard pressed to tell you anyone has ever been more attractive in a movie than Cher and Moonstruck is to me. I think she's fucking brilliant. And Nick Cage is not way he's outbidding his coverage like crazy.
Yeah.
With Cher here. But even so, it's one of my favorite performances of his. He has one of those just an electric monologue. He is so over the top in this movie. And, you know, Nick Cage typically is, but it's a special kind of over the top within the context of this movie. He plays a character who's lost a hand.
Wow.
And he like hates his brother is marrying Cher. Is marrying Cher, but his brother's about to go back to the home country in Italy to visit their mom who's on her deathbed, or their grandma who's on her deathbed. I can't remember. But he wants his brother to be invited to the wedding, a brother he hasn't talked to in like 5 years. So he sends Cher to go invite him to the wedding. And obviously that doesn't go his way. As Nick Cage and Cher are the leads in this romance movie.
That's what I was going to say. I'm like,
yeah,
wow.
So it just one of those, he has a line delivery. He goes, it just kind of builds and builds and builds. He like, Cher sees how angry Nick Cage's character is. And he's like, why should I come? I have no hand. I have no bride. Johnny has his hand. Johnny has his bride. It's just a incredible performance. And it has like multiple storylines beyond just Cher and Nick Cage's that is fulfilling. Cher's mom in the movie is portrayed by Olympia Dukakis, who is absolutely incredible. I believe she got a supporting actress nod for this movie at the Oscars, and she has her own love story, which is was another great little arc in this movie. Like I a very high recommendation on my romance movies list. Like this is I adore this movie, so I have it coming in at 96 here.
Nice. Okay. Well, moving on to 95, the midway point of this episode here. I guess maybe that would have been, kind of midpoint. If we're not doing
midpoint-ish.
But I'm going to 2005's Sky High. Mike Mitchell. I mean, this was...
You got Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell, Kelly Preston were the parents. The big, just, I guess, the best superheroes just to ever exist. I don't know. And like they're just kind of like Mr. and Miss Incredible.
Yeah.
And then
Stronghold, yeah.
Yeah, Will Stronghold.
Mary Elizabeth Winstead in this bitch, bro. I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. That's Hera Syndulla, baby. Or it's about to be.
Wow.
She's about to be live action.
She played Quinn. Oh my god, the freaking villain, like the
Royal Pain.
Okay. Yeah, Royal Pain. Wow, that's sick. I didn't know Hera had it like that. Had the pacifier turn freaking everyone into babies.
Yeah. She was also Huntress in Birds of Prey. Has come up a couple times in this one. Bruce Campbell, Linda Carter, like that's got a fucking cast on it, man.
Yeah, and a lot of just I don't know. I there's not a thought that went through my head more than like, when am I going to get my superpowers? Like as a kid, I'm like, when does this happen? Like obviously it's got to happen at some point.
Is this a part of puberty?
Yeah, and I'm like, is that what they're talking about? Is that like, I don't know, is it just some secret that adults can't tell us? Because if they did, then we get our, the whole world would just not work. I'm like, I'm trying to make sense of it. But I don't know, it was just a very nice escapist movie as a kid to be like, man, what if I had superpowers? And it's like a whole school full of kids with only superpowers that like only kids with superpowers can even get to, because I guess, wait, they got there on buses. How the fuck did the buses get up there? They just flew?
They flew. They were flying buses.
So they just had magic
Yeah, remember the bus driver? Like it was like Ron Wilson, bus
driver. Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, the buses flew. They would fly up there.
I guess
they would like fly off the edge of a cliff.
No, I'm just trying to think like all these kids had superpowers, whatever. But like, I guess magic is just also a thing in this movie, like that. I just never really thought about, because there's a fucking school floating in a cloud, and then buses that can just fly. There's no superpowers needed. Is Ron Wilson just a dude? Did he have? No, he had a superpower, right? He went to Sky High. Did he? I feel like he had I used to go to Sky High, and I feel like he got like bullied or something. I feel like I remember that.
He's actually credited as Ron Wilson, bus driver.
Yes. I don't know. I feel like he actually had like a... Yeah, maybe not. Maybe he was just simply the bus driver. There's only one person to authorize transport superheroes. Ron Wilson, bus driver. And I'm Ron Wilson, bus driver. Wow, that's the only quote on IMDb from him. So I don't know, maybe that is really all that was in there. But no, I don't know, just a super memorable memory or just movie as a kid. I'd watch it all the time.
Nicholas Braun was in it. He's now he was in Succession. Like,
oh wow, okay, yeah. But just like I remember their basement, the Stronghold house, like their lair was just sick. Like I thought it was always so cool, and like the jump in the air and then like doing the superhero landing right in the gym, and then the whole floor like kind of ripples out. Like I don't know, there's just a lot of really
like
cool...
the gym game that they would play, like the challenge they had to complete there was so fucking cool.
Yeah, superhero or sidekick. You would literally it was like in front of everybody if you were a superhero or a sidekick, and like like the sidekicks were just the rejects, you know, or whatever, and then like but no, I and like I don't know, just a really fun movie that I watched all the time. But yeah, 2005. Yeah, I don't know, just sky high. A lot of these, by the way, like when I was looking for inspiration, I just went to like our old playroom cabinet full of like all of our VHSs and DVDs, and I'm like, oh yeah, for sure, like that's got to be in there. So that's where a lot of these came from, were the DVDs, and I could tell because those cases of those DVDs were ripped to shit, and like you could just tell that those movies were watched a lot more. So it was kind of easy to pick them out. But yeah, 95.
I haven't even been contemplating how many of these I own physically.
Yeah.
Yeah, including my next one. It'll be 3 so far. Bringing Up Baby and Moonstruck. I have the Criterion Collection editions of both of those. Ooh. But next one is Burn After Reading at 95. Burn After Reading, released 2008, directed by the Coens, Ethan and Joel Coen. If you're familiar with the work of the Coens, which I am overwhelmingly familiar, I fucking love their movies.
That's a cast right there.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, intertwining, chaotic web of stories, which is just what you love about a Coen movie. Everything happening to the characters just kind of accidentally. Happenstance kind of puts them in their situations, and the way they deal with those situations is hilarious. And this one, Brad Pitt, this is one of my top 2 favorite Brad Pitt performances there is. Brad Pitt and Frances McDormand work at a gym. Frances McDormand desperately wants plastic surgery to like fix her entire body. She thinks she's ugly. I think Frances McDormand is a wonderful looking woman, but she's obsessed with the idea that she is not she's not skinny. She wants to be thinner. She needs plastic surgery. And Brad Pitt's just her homie who works at the gym with her. And one day in the locker room, he discovers a disc, a CD or a DVD that when he opens it, he believes contains government secrets. And he is ready to blackmail the person this belongs to in order to get money and share it with Frances McDormand for her plastic surgeries.
Hey, wow, that sounds.
The government agent is John Malkovich. John Malkovich, if I recall correctly, is I think he's married to Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, I see her in the cast. Yeah,
he's married. I think he's married to Tilda Swinton, who is having an affair with George Clooney, and George Clooney is cheating on Tilda Swinton with Frances McDormand, and so it's just a wonderful, crazy slew of everything going on. What Brad Pitt doesn't realize, Brad Pitt plays the most dumb ass of dumbasses ever in this movie. This thing containing government secrets is actually John Malkovich's attempt at writing a memoir. He was just writing a book, which is supposed to be public. It's going to be public knowledge anyway. So whenever he's like trying to blackmail him for it, he's like, "Are you a fucking idiot?" You know, like that's and Brad Pitt's just so fucking stupid in it. It's an incredible, ridiculous movie. Another one that I own physically. I got this one on Blu-ray, and I cannot emphasize enough just how outrageous it is. Brad Pitt, I can't speak highly enough. Like you got this cast, and I keep coming back to Brad Pitt. That's how you know he did fucking good in this movie.
Yeah, that's a nuts cast. J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons plays.
CIA
John Malkovich is a former CIA agent. He's retired, like he's forced into retirement, and he's working on this memoir. And J.K. Simmons is folded in because he's being informed of everything that's happening with this situation. Because it goes, if you know the Coen brothers, they go way above and beyond everything you could possibly anticipate the story would require. There's murder, there's death, there's all sorts of shit in this movie.
So when we think about covering them,
for Drive Away Dolls, we were thinking about that for Ethan.
Because I thought I remember
on that list. And the next time the Coens have a movie, we're going to be doing the director spotlight for them. I promise you that, because this shit is I fucking love their movies, and this is one of my favorites. It's not my highest Coen Brothers movie, but it's up there. I love Burn After Reading, so I got that at 95.
Okay, well, I'll switch up here. Going back to Pixar, I guess my childhood was kind of. Well, I guess, have I even had a Pixar movie yet?
I had Soul. I don't think you've had a Pixar movie.
I guess I haven't had one yet. But no, I guess my first Pixar movie is 2006's Cars.
Hell
by Setter and Joe Ranft. I think is maybe how you say it. Ranft. R-A-N-F-T. But anyway, I was obsessed with Cars and Lightning McQueen. I thought Lightning McQueen was the coolest. For a movie to make me want to be like a car,
it's got to be pretty cool.
I don't know. Like I imagine myself as Lightning McQueen all the time, or like, and then like Dinoco, of how cool it would be to be like, just to get
highway.
Oh, dude, and those cool cars, like the man. On the
bruh,
highway.
You ain't even got to tell me, bruh. I fucking this was the first movie I saw in theaters multiple times. I saw this movie twice in 2 days when I was 6. I fucking loved this one, bruh. Lightning McQueen. I love Owen Wilson. So him being, the fact that the first thing I remember Owen Wilson for is Lightning McQueen is something that I'll forever be appreciative of. Tow Mater. I always loved Tow Mater.
Speed. I am speed. Yeah, Larry the Cable Guy.
I'm in Hillbilly Hell. That's another good one for he won the Piston Cup. He did what in his cup? That's another good one. Just a lot of just a great cast of characters. Perfectly capturing personalities, car types, which is absolutely something you can do in real life. So like the fact that they made a whole animated movie around that, kind of incredible. It's a great fucking man. It's a great choice.
Yeah, like I love also when people start to be like, what's the carnatomy? What's their anatomy like? What, like, let's really get into the details here. 'Cause like if gas is kind of like their food, that's what they need to run, like, and go. So the gas is kind of like their food. That's, but like, what's oil? Is oil like their blood? Kind of like, like, it's like this stuff sort of makes sense. And they're like, okay. But then you have that scene where those two fangirls of Lightning McQueen flash him, with their headlights.
The lights, yeah.
And you got to think, is that the equivalent of boobs? If so, there's a lot of cars that just have boobs out all the time.
Yeah, they're just tits out, man. That's all they are. Yeah.
And if that's the case, like, what's going on in car world? Like, there's just a lot of, and then there's planes. I don't know. There's even a movie about them.
Yeah, the planes.
Kind of nuts. But then like they have real food though, because Mater eats like wasabi and like so they have real food.
Yeah, because they have mouths.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a, I don't know.
The logistics are tough to follow.
I don't know. I just love like going into details that don't matter whatsoever, that the movie had no intentions of even explaining at all, but just to dive down a rabbit hole that doesn't even really exist. I don't know. I do that quite often. But no, Cars was, I don't know, like whenever he fixes the town he feels bad, and then overnight he just gets through it, fixes the whole road, and everyone gets to drive on the smooth road for the first time. And I remember when he comes back and gets like the white tires from Luigi's shop, and he looks just so clean. And then like the paint over from that one cool guy, the hot rod dude that did like the paint jobs. He did something at every person's store, for a little bit.
Sleepy. I like Mack Truck. Mack Truck is always good. I like Mack. Sally, Flo, like Flo.
Yeah. The sheriff. I remember. Yeah.
Doc Hudson, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Doc. That's Paul Newman.
Damn, is it really?
Yeah.
Paul Newman that's a legendary actor they got there.
If you turn left to go right, if you're going fast enough.
What does that mean, Doc?
Is that really real? I've actually never really thought about that. There's no way that shit's real, No.
Like, and I have no interest in attempting so.
Like maybe is that how you drift? Maybe, I don't know. I still don't know how to drift at all, and I'm never gonna attempt it because I feel like I just crash, even if I'm in an open parking lot.
Turning a car.
Yeah.
I believe that the direction you turn the wheels is the way your car will turn, and I can't imagine much of a scenario in which that's not the case.
But if you're going fast enough, that's their explanation, right? If you find yourself going fast enough, you turn left and you'll end up going right or whatever. You just got to go fast, but it's also on like it's not on a road. On asphalt, it won't work. You have to be on like something that's kind of.
You got that dirt road thing.
Yeah. Because Lightning McQueen, he only does it. He does it in the piston cup, but it's whenever he's in the grass and he's like trying to find himself back onto the track. So it's not on the track that he does it. It's only on the grass. So maybe they got something. I don't know. Maybe when you're on like a gravel road or something that's like that, maybe that is what you do. I don't know. I'll have to look into this, but probably not is my initial guess.
I'm gonna try it. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll be right back. Actually, I'll let you know how it goes.
I start turning right, and my car goes right, and I'm like, "Wow!" Just fly off a hill,
into a bunch of cactuses, as like
naturally. I always loved that movie when I was younger, man. That was one that was near and dear when I was a young lad, and it's one that's shit, man. I think that's probably another one I've rewatched this year at some point. Me and Emily love watching Pixar movies together. So like Cars, that's one that I know I've watched recently. Can't tell you how recently, but I know I have.
So nostalgic, man. These movies, I don't know, a different time, a much simpler time in our lives.
Yeah, to be sure. But to continue in a movie that is absolutely not Cars. At 94, this is where I have another one from the 52-year journey through film for us. 1986's Aliens, directed by James Cameron, starring Sigourney Weaver. Man, this movie is every bit as good as we remember it being. It's top 2 James Cameron for me, along with Titanic.
Bound mother-daughter relationship, man. I don't know, Little Newt, isn't that her name? Yeah, Newt.
Yeah, Newt.
Ripley and Newt.
I mean,
man.
the fucking power loader. I have a Funko Pop that's about this tall. That's Ripley in the power loader, and it's super fucking cool. It's one of my favorite action figures. Just a
badass woman.
Just a cool movie, man. Like there are very few movies that I feel like I can describe as like little more and no less than fucking cool. And Aliens is one of those. Like that is a cool fucking movie. Yeah. And the practical effects of the aliens themselves, the sort of the tension they build throughout that movie is like the radar where they're like bleeping closer and closer, and then they like disappear, and you're like, oh god.
And then like the big other alien at the end that she's like, oh my god, what a fight! That's
mother versus mother right there.
God damn, that movie's sick.
It's one that I need to rewatch. I haven't watched it since we talked about it for the 52-year journey through film, and I love that shit though.
When I was going through the 52-year journey through film, that was one that I'm like, I cannot exclude that one. So it will be on mine.
Beautiful. Love to hear that.
Love the space movies. Yeah, if it's space, I mean,
it's automatically got a leg up on some other stuff.
Yeah, I'm already.
I don't have a super long-winded relationship with Aliens or anything. Mm-hmm. The first time I watched it was for the 52-year journey through film.
Yeah.
And I think I've only watched it that once, and it stuck with me so profoundly that it's still in this top 100. So,
that's true. It is a one and done watch that I like. Yeah, a one and done for me as well, and I hold it in the same esteem. So it was really good, but
not for a lack of not wanting to rewatch it. It's just one of those ones where I'm like, God, I got to get back around to that. At some point I will. But yeah, man, that's a fun fucking movie. It's so good, and I feel like I've discredited James Cameron quite a bit. But his top 3, top 4 or 5, pretty fucking solid.
I agree.
Titanic, Aliens, Terminator, T2, Way of the Water. They're pretty fucking strong movies, man. Hard to deny.
They are pretty damn good.
He's got a good batting average. But yeah, Aliens here. Love me some Aliens. And like I said, only one of 2 Cameron movies that'll be appearing here. The other one's Titanic. That won't be for a few episodes. So
okay. Well, I thought I was going in thought I had a bunch of Pixar movies, but it was my first one. But I will have another Pixar movie right now. Is why I kind of go on a little Pixar run, I guess. My childhood was just simply dominated by Pixar. But one more movie I liked a little more than Cars was Monsters, Inc. 2000.
Oh yeah.
By Peter Docter, David Silverman, and Lee Unkrich.
Pete Docter, same director as Soul.
Hey, okay. I like that.
Good track record on him.
And another, it's still like Boo has the Pixar look, but all the monsters are very unique. Like
very original. Yeah.
And I don't know, just the concept of it. Like the
credit
doors
sequence in that one is one that always stuck with me. Yeah, like I fucking love. Yeah. Yeah, I fucking love that shit, bro.
Yeah, oh man, that's so good. But then all
Randall and
the room that just had all the doors, like every it was kind of like Shazam, like the all the doors that you could go through. But this did it first, I don't know, maybe in the comics, if maybe who knows. No. No, I thought that was always so cool, and them climbing through all of them, going to like just these random locations, and like just chasing Randall, like trying to get Boo.
Some genuinely like scary parts in that movie when you're younger too, like that back room where they're like sucking the life out of monsters.
Oh my god! Yeah, no.
That shit's dark.
It's like the classic like movie trope of like the laser that's slowly getting closer and closer to your crotch. But this is like way worse. Like this is like a torture device before you just die and you don't even have a soul anymore. Like I don't know. That's just that is not it. But like
2319.
That's literally what I was about to say. Is just remember, like, oh my god, there's so many moments in this movie that are just great, and like always watching. Whatever. What was her name?
Fucking
lady. What is? It's gonna stick out when I see it. I'd say. Wow.
Hello, lovely.
Yeah.
How you doing today? Billy Crystal is Mike Wazowski, isn't he? Do I have that right? John Goodman is Sully. It's a great cast again, man. Water Noose.
Is it Roz?
Yeah, Roz.
Always watching. That's
Roz.
Voiced by Bob Peterson.
Hello, Roz, darling.
Yeah, wow, that is,
My little smoopy poopy doopy loop. I can never remember what she says there, but the Medusa ass motherfucker who's like that restaurant. I always wanted to go to that restaurant, bro, that they were at the beginning.
The octopus just popping up, doing hibachi like at grill or whatever, but just like at a even greater rate. But yeah, Roz was voiced by a dude this whole time. I had no idea.
I'm always watching, Wazowski.
Yeah. But
always watching.
that's like just so many memorable. Like I don't know. I remember just watching the hell out of this movie. Like this was just always on.
Into oblivion.
Yeah, and even in the poster of it from the creators of Toy Story, like this is like Pixar was on a run. Like I don't know, it's crazy.
When Pixar got rolling, oh buddy, they got fucking rolling, dude. The 90s and the early 2000s, man, that was a crazy run that Pixar was on, and Disney Animation was probably in its prime as well at that point. You know, Little Mermaid was 89, and there were a few more in the 90s there, but just a special era for animated movies. And the only issue is that they haven't evolved a lot since then. You know, like Pixar's been kind of stagnant because they knew that worked then, and it still works. It still sells. You know, like Elemental just put up crazy numbers after starting relatively slow, but like I just can't wait until they innovate again. You know, I think that it's been a while since they've taken that step up, and Monsters Inc. was one of those times where it was like, oh, this shit's getting better.
2001, man, I was a year old.
Yeah, so was I.
That's crazy.
Been around my whole fucking life.
Yeah, that's just weird to think about. But no, I absolutely love Monsters Inc.
Love that.
Not quite, you know, in this like little mini top 10 that I have, you know, it's fourth, I guess, in this little mini top 10. So I mean, I really really love Monsters Inc. When it comes to that, but no Pixar for the next couple, actually.
I dig it. I dig it. Yeah, my 93. This will be the second crossover we've had as far as like actor crossover. You know, we had Owen Wilson for me on Bottle Rocket, Owen Wilson for you in Cars. This one I've got Scott Pilgrim versus the World at 93. Came out in 2010, directed by Edgar Wright, which also features Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who was in Sky High.
Let's go. Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So we nice. I like little crossovers like that. It's always very fun.
The web of crossovers from this list is going to be insane.
It's going to be immense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've loved this movie for a few years. I watched it for the first time 5 years ago. It was December after I came home from Mizzou. And I've talked about this multiple times on the podcast. Was not in the best place. And I watched this movie like every night for like a week straight. Because I was just like, I got rip-roaringly high, and then just turned on Scott Pilgrim versus the World. And it will always be special to me for providing comfort in a time like that. Michael Cera is one of my favorites. Love me some Michael Cera. Love Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Jason Schwartzman, the villain in that movie. Love me some Jason Schwartzman. Brandon Routh, Brie Larson being the hottest woman who's ever graced film in that one. Hello again, friend of a friend.
How is she not even in the top cast? Wow,
she's incredible in that movie. Wow. Aubrey Plaza is in that one. Crazy. Oh, Craig had to reconnect there. Crazy little, just a special movie that probably, you know, I think it came at the right time. I don't know that a movie like this would get made as well as it did then if it was now. You know, like bringing that comic book to life. Edgar Wright, a brilliant director, a wonderful auteur, a guy whose filmography I need to dig into deeper. Helped develop Ant-Man, the first movie. He was set to direct it originally, but then got dismissed as Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios thought that his artistic direction wasn't exactly what they were looking for.
Yeah, I feel like this is a
moronic
confession. I feel like I'm confessing here, but yeah, I still haven't seen this movie yet.
Oh, no kidding. It's a great one, man.
Everyone
Chris Evans plays
like,
a wonderful douchebag in it.
What? Yeah. Wow. Okay. Like I just remember everyone talking about this movie. Like I don't know why. Like
it's caught a bad rap for the stereotypical person who enjoys this movie. Like the stereotypical person who's like, that's my favorite movie of all time. You're typically like, well, then I probably don't need to watch it.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
But it's more than worth your time, and no hate to anybody whose favorite movie is Scott Pilgrim versus the World. Obviously, it's one of my favorites of all time. It's on this list, but it's got a certain type of like anime energy. You know, like there's an element to it that feels.
It looked kind of cool, like the style, like had a style to it.
Extremely stylistically pleasing. Yeah. Like it's something that very video gamey is how I'd describe it. Like it's based around like video game aesthetics, and it's
that's cool.
I love it. Very, very enjoyable. So Scott Pilgrim versus the World, that's where I'm going to go ahead and throw it here. 93. And it's one that's like fallen and fallen and fallen. There was a point where I would have told you this was a top 10 favorite movie of mine as well, but here it is at 93. You know, like it's
okay.
Wild relationship to movies here.
Yeah. Well, on to 92 was a movie that you guessed, actually, that you thought that I might not have, but it is The Cat in the Hat, that came out in 2003 by Bo Welch. Directed by Bo Welch. Written by Dr.
Dirty
Seuss. The dude, Dr. Seuss, who just, I don't know. I played him. I don't know if that's the right word. I impersonated him in elementary school.
The Missouri Project?
Yup. Yeah, you had to just pick someone from Missouri and like look like them and then give like a speech to parents. Yeah, like parents just came and would press your button or whatever on your desk, and then you'd have to just, hi, I'm Dr.
It's like
Seuss.
the NPC game where you're like,
oh, wait a minute.
Like, ooh, ice cream's so good. You know, like it was that, but on an elementary school level.
Wait a minute. I think I think I might have been Walt Disney, actually. Was he from Missouri?
I think Walt Disney was. Dr. Seuss I was a little hung up on as being from Missouri.
Yeah, no, I think I was Walt Disney. So, okay, I was crossing some memories there. Yeah, I was not Dr. Seuss. But I don't know, I had all of his books, I guess, as a kid.
Dr. Seuss was Massachusetts.
Okay, yes, so I did not play Dr. Seuss. I'm pretty sure I played Walt Disney.
I was Nelly.
Wow.
The rapper. So hot and her. That was who I was. Walt Disney was born in Illinois, but maybe he was brought up in.
Yeah.
Were you Mark Twain?
I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah, I think I got Walt Disney somehow. I don't know. He moved to Marceline, Missouri, where he has his childhood farm.
Oh, okay. Then yeah.
Drawing. So I guess
brought
up. Yeah, I think it was Walt Disney.
Yeah. Yeah, he was 4 years old when they moved to Missouri. He grew up in Missouri.
Okay, but wow, that unlocked a memory that I haven't thought about in so long. At Chapel, you know, like in the small gym. I don't know, the gym doesn't even really exist anymore. I don't think. Looking back at it, like wow, that's okay. Anyway, but yeah, Cat in the Hat. It's another kind of Zathura, and what was the other one that kind of followed? Polar Express, Aliens in the Attic as well. Kind of like where kids kind of take the role or take the lead, and their parents would never believe this story in a million years or whatever.
Isn't that Dakota Fanning? Is that a?
Yeah, that's the daughter. Mike Myers is the cat.
Naturally.
Spencer Breslin.
You are fired.
Yeah. Oh man, I mean, just the costume design in this was unreal because like the amount of roles that like the cat did. He was like the chef, like in the kitchen for a little bit, like made all those or whatever. The Thing 1 and Thing 2 or whatever. Whenever they got out of the box and like whenever they went into the box or like the box was getting like enveloping the whole house or whatever. And
dude, I loved that movie.
Alec
another
Baldwin.
one that gets a yearly rewatch out of me. Because Emily and her sister love it, so we watch it when we're together.
No, this we went through one disc of it. Like one disc we watched so much it was scratched. We had to get another one. Couldn't watch it anymore. But man, I remember just watching this movie all the time and just I don't have any like particular reason why. Like usually like in my childhood movies I'd always be like like, oh, I just wanted to be like this guy in the movie so bad. I thought he was the coolest guy.
Movie was the wildest fever dream you could possibly
it was
watch at a young age.
Just an absolute, just crazy. Yeah, it was a Dr. Seuss story brought to life. Yeah, fever dream. That's a perfect way to describe it. Because man, what the fuck happened?
It's a bizarre fucking movie, man. Even now, like it's aged in a way that it's just it doesn't make more sense than it did then. You know, it's just bizarre, and that's kind of all it is. And I love the movie for that.
Yeah,
the fucking the pink sludge or the purple sludge.
Mm-hmm. I got everywhere. And the babysitter that fell asleep that they ended up surfing or like sitting on, going down the thing.
The fucking machine he pulls out to clean the entire house before the end of the movie.
In seconds can just fix everything like it's nothing. Like he knew, he knew all along. He just wanted to have a fun day. He's always, I don't know, I guess because he had to like just go back into like the closet or something like at the end, and then like
I can't remember how the movie ends.
Yeah, like I think like he just had to leave or something like that. But yeah, I don't know how it started. I don't know. It's just a crazy day that they had. I don't know. It's just two kids. Babysitter fell asleep. Could just be their imagination. Like it's just. I don't know. I love the movies where the kids were the ones experiencing everything. And this was just 4 out of 10 on IMDb, but I don't give a fuck.
It's a fun one, man. I love that.
I love this movie so much. But yeah, number 3 on my little mini top 10 here for childhood.
That's a 92.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My 92, very, very different than The Cat in the Hat. This is where I have another one from our 52-year journey through film in Gladiator 2000, directed by Ridley Scott, starring Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, and Connie Nielsen. This movie, you've heard all about Gladiator, and it's one that's aged really, really well in my head. Every time that I think about it better than I did the previous time. You know what I'm saying? Like, fresh off the 52-year journey through film episode, probably wouldn't have thrown it in the top 100, but just contemplating it ever since then. It's a grand movie, man. Like, just such an epic story of the rise and fall and revenge and all this wonderful stuff that makes for incredibly entertaining movies. I've grown to like Russell Crowe very, very much. Love that actor. Love Joaquin Phoenix as an actor as well.
The costume design in that movie might be some of my favorite costume design of all time. Like, I love the outfits that Commodus and Maximus wore. Like, it was just insane. Like,
are you not entertained?
Yeah, I go on like a little run of war movies a little bit at one point, like, because I kind of hold a lot of war movies just if I like them.
Similar regard.
It's similar, but Gladiator found its way above that cut, like of like the war movies. It's one of my favorite war movies of all time, close to another that we'll get to, but it's kind of a ways away actually.
Good. I like hearing that.
Yeah, in the top half actually. Barely, but yeah, top half for me. I don't know. War movies usually don't really get me, and I don't really care for them. But this was one that, like, the story of like just Maximus losing his family. Like, I don't know. Like, there's actually just and like the reeds, like his hand, like, I don't know, just the I don't know. Just the memory, like, as the more and more I do think of that movie, the more I'm like, wow, that was actually
it's a good fucking movie, man. And
it's not just war and battle. It's like the story behind it's really, really good. But yeah, I don't know. I'll get to it, I guess, a lot later. But I'm glad it made your list, because making your list, that's a lot harder to make your list. Like,
right. Yeah, I've got a high criteria here. Yeah. I actually don't have any, like, the thing you're doing with your bottom 10 here. I don't think I have a single one of those on my list where I'm like, I just threw you a bone. Like, you had to work to get into this top 100 for me. And Gladiator is one of those that's just, it's so damn good. And for it to be at 92 in a top 100 is probably blasphemous to some people. But I'd like to remind you, top 100 for me is, I love all of them, 1 through 100. That's just how it works. But we got down to our last 4 here, 91 and 90.
Yeah.
So let's hear it. What do you got?
Well, not my favorite childhood movie, I guess. And that's the thing. I do have, like, I think maybe 2 or 3 more childhood movies that I actually hold to like a standard that is higher than this. So like, I do still have some, and these aren't like my top 2 favorite, but it is quite up there. But this is 2005's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Tim Burton, with Johnny Depp as Willy Wonka, and I mean, I think we went through 2 discs of this. Like I think we're on our 3rd copy, I think, of it. But man, I don't know of a movie that, like, the 3 of, like, my brother and sister, we would all watch this together all the time. Like, in that, there's not many movies that did that. Like, usually it would be like I'd watch a movie with just my sister or just my brother, but this was one that we just all watched all the time. Like, it was just always on. Like the Oompa Loompas, the songs that are in it, just it's like every kid gets their own song. Augustus Bloom, you know, like, I don't know, like, and then Violet, when she turns into the blueberry, that, like, number they do there to roll her out and stretch her or whatever. The annoying, like, really rich girl that gets, you know, she's a bad nut, so she gets just thrown in the garbage. That's fucking hilarious. And
Confession, like, never saw this one.
What?
This one missed me.
Oh my god, what, dude? Yo, you gotta see this one, especially with the new Wonka coming out.
Yeah, I'm like, I might revisit the Gene Wilder and this one too.
Have you seen the first one, the original?
I've seen the original. That's the one that I've seen.
They both have an obsession with really just wanting to get rid of kids. It seems like just coming up with really creative ways to get rid of kids, and
they're just like, what if we killed?
Yeah, I guess, was it Gene Hackman in the first one?
Gene Wilder.
Yeah, I don't know. I was like, that didn't sound right. But yeah, Gene Wilder.
I think that were massive in Hollywood.
Those kids didn't really come back, right? Like, they actually, like.
No, I'm pretty sure they're just dead. Yeah.
Yeah, at least in this one, they're all out. They make it out of it.
Yeah, that's one that I haven't seen in years, so I might be wrong, but
I think they do die. I don't know.
They're just dead, yeah.
Or they're just like, it's just left in the air. It's just like, well, you don't know. It's probably dead, but.
Quiet up and listen down. Scratch that. Reverse it. It's my favorite little soundbite from Timothy Chalamet's Wonka trailer, just because I think it's hilarious. But
you got Count Dooku. You got the man,
Christopher Lee.
Yeah, as Wonka's dad in this one. He plays his dad.
The one that's just like bedridden.
No, he was a dentist.
Oh, Wonka's dad. Sorry.
Yeah, Wonka's dad. Oh yeah, no. The Charlie's dad's played by Noah Taylor. He's Mr. Bucket. Mr. and Mrs. Bucket is their last name. But yeah, they have like the 4 old people that all share the same bed.
Yeah.
And then one of them gets to go with them to the when they get the
polyamorous love.
But yeah, I don't know. It was I don't know. This one is, man.
Well,
I don't know.
I'm a relative fan of Tim Burton as well. So like, I see no reason why I wouldn't enjoy this movie to a degree. You know, Tim Burton. I think I liked the Batman ones by him, but he's one that I've had a tough time connecting with outside of that.
This is probably the least Tim Burton movie he has, I'd say.
No shit.
Like, probably the house that the Bucket family lives in, that's in Tim Burton style for sure. But as far as like the factory, it is like futuristic to hell. Like, I mean, it's like, yeah, it's not really.
I like Big Fish a lot with Ewan McGregor. I don't know if you have that, but
I do
that's a good Tim Burton movie.
Yeah, not really a lot is in his style at all in this.
Interesting. One. Okay. It's not that I don't like his style. I do quite enjoy his hyper stylistic sort of sensibilities. It's just that most of the time, like, I feel like he focuses on that as opposed to anything else. Kind of. Yeah. You know, at least in the last 20-ish years, that's kind of been my impression of him. But no, yeah. All right. Cool. So that's at 91 then.
That's right.
All right. My 90 and 91 are both 2023 movies, so we might have a little bit of recency bias on me here. But 91 is where we get my one and only John Wick film, John Wick Chapter 4, coming in at 91 here. Genuinely one of the most interesting and compelling action films of all time, directed by Chad Stahelski here, obviously starring Keanu Reeves. But you also got Donnie Yen and Bill Skarsgård and Ian McShane and Lawrence Fishburne and what is probably R.I.P. Lance Reddick's last live action role. Love that actor. Clancy Brown, Hiroyuki Sanada, like a crazy cast here in John Wick 4, and putting a stuntman behind the camera. Chad Stahelski was Keanu's stuntman for the Matrix movies, was the stuntman in V for Vendetta, also for V. But so he's got a real good sensibility as to what needs to happen with action scenes. This dude's an incredible action director, and it has one of the most. You remember in was it Taxi Driver, where after Robert De Niro goes on like a killing spree, the camera rises above the house and kind of goes aerially. There's a whole action sequence for about 5 minutes that's like a oneer in that style with John Wick tearing through a house.
Man. Yeah, that's the thing. I've only seen one movie, and I already know how freaking badass John Wick can be, but I've heard he, like...
John Wick 4 is my favorite John Wick movie, and 91 might be... With the 2023 movies, I tried to tamper it a little bit. I tried to make them lower so as to not include a ton of recency bias. But yeah, man, it's wonderful. I love Keanu Reeves. This will obviously not be the last time he appears on this list.
Oh yeah, I got him much higher.
Much higher as well. Yeah, John Wick's the shit, and the whole franchise. This is kind of the stand-in, you know. A lot of franchises, I kind of tried to limit myself to maybe one movie per, unless all the movies are just that damn good. And I think John Wick I think all of John Wick through 1 through 3, they might be worthy of being here, but I just went ahead and limited it to John Wick 4 and threw it on the list here.
Okay. Yeah, I still gotta get around to those. That's for sure. I mean, I love the first one, and I don't know. I love Keanu, so I don't see why I wouldn't absolutely love 2, 3, and 4. Or that's not what they're named, I guess.
2 is John Wick 1, John Wick Chapter 2, John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, and then John Wick Chapter 4.
They decided to give a name to the third one. That's right.
For some reason,
yeah. Anyway, but yeah, okay. I gotta get to those because, man, we were about to do.
That was what would have happened during this. We would have been talking John Wick 1. If we weren't doing the top 100 now. So, yeah, we're putting that off until I would say like the next Keanu movie. Maybe that's when we do our first actor spotlight.
That'd be nice. He deserves
just tear through some Keanu.
Yeah, he deserves the first actor spotlight if we do one. I mean, obviously, come on. Who else will we start it out with?
It's got to be Keanu.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll revisit Keanu, but in, I think, the last episode for me, if not before, maybe.
Maybe second to last, probably last.
Yeah. So yeah,
for me as well. Yeah.
We'll get to Keanu, but to end it off here, to end off this one, in this top 11 or top, I've been saying top 10 this whole time.
Yeah, 90 through 100.
But my top for now childhood movie that I think stands up to today, even like just so well. I don't know. I love this fucking movie so much. It's The Incredibles in 2000.
Yeah.
By Brad Bird. I mean, like, god damn. Like, I don't know. This is just. I don't know what it is about it, but it's like a Pixar movie that doesn't really fit the rest of the Pixar lineup, honestly. Like,
it's one of the greatest superhero movies of all time.
Yeah. Like, if it's a family, like a literal family, like there's found families and, like, with X-Men and like Fantastic Four. I guess some of them are actual family in Fantastic Four, but like, I don't know, like this is just an actual family. And like they have some actual family struggles, like superheroes were banned or whatever, because that can just happen. Superheroes can just be banned. I don't know. I think that was, or maybe they just would get in trouble.
No, they were like, if you are a superhero working, then you are going to get locked away. Like, we're going to send you to prison.
All for saving a dude that was trying to commit suicide, right? Like, crazy thing to put in a kids movie.
Right.
Anyway, but like Syndrome, oh my god, like that villain, like his
I
villain
loved that villain, man.
Syndrome is so cool. Who plays him? I wonder. Never really.
Syndrome? Jason Lee.
Jason Lee, yeah, Buddy. Oh, Buddy, fly home, Buddy. I work alone. Yeah, and that was his villain arc right there. That was
Incrediboy.
Come on, I just want to.
I always remember the
Voyage.
Bon Voyage. Yeah, the way he greets Mr. The overwhelmingly French accent is always so funny to me.
So good. Yeah, and I even
the original Pixar mom ass on Elastigirl, just insane. Why y'all got to do all that, man?
Well, I mean, she can make her body whatever shape she wants. She's obviously going to give herself a nice ass, Yeah. And I feel like it got even bigger in the second one.
She's got the fucking wagon on her. Goddamn carriage.
That's a childhood crush, I think, for everyone unanimously across the board of all of the human species. I think
all people had a crush on Elastigirl.
Mm-hmm.
I love, and the whole family, man. Dash is one of the best uses of super speed in all of superhero media.
Whenever he starts running on the water and he doesn't know if it's going to work, but then he looks down, it's working, and then he zooms. That is even
proof
faster.
that super speed works better if it's not like everything turns into slow motion. Like, if you're going like 200 miles an hour, that's still super speed, like, you don't need to be going much faster than that, but it's still not like people can try and shoot you because they can see where you're running, like that's like with the thing that chases him through the woods when he does go out on the water.
Mm-hmm. The Beyblade.
That shit was hard. Just really the plane crash, Frozone.
Oh my god, dude, come on,
I loved Frozone when I was little, man. Samuel L. Jackson was the shit in that role. But Brad Bird, actually, he also directed Ratatouille.
Okay.
And he also directed Mission Impossible 4: Ghost Protocol.
That's a jump.
Yeah, that's bit different. Bit different there. Good track record on him, though. I like Brad Bird.
But no, Jack. Oh, Helen, the costume designer, a costume designer in the movie itself. Not
Edna.
Oh yeah. What'd I say?
Helen. I believe that's Elastigirl.
Oh yeah. I don't know. I don't know why. Yeah, that is Elastigirl.
Yeah, because Violet is the daughter, Helen's the mom, Edna is the costume designer.
Yeah,
Edna
Mode and guest. Yeah, duh, it's Edna. But the greatest
Nuggets
hero costume, that montage of everyone dying because of their cape, and then
whenever testing every single suit, we're like, dude,
and like blast them with fire bullets, and then showing like the beacon, that's in every single one of them. That the mom only knows about. Helen's the only one that knows about that. Or
Syndrome's lair.
Yeah,
like the lava like parts.
Yeah. And then the
fucking the claustrophobia I experienced for the first time because of the black balls.
I thought that would happen to me. It's I'm like, I don't want this to ever happen. It's a new fear that just unlocked. It's obviously never going to happen. But I had, that's
like the hearing them inflate and like watching them expand on his body.
Knowing that if you just try to get it off, it just sticks to your hand. Like you can't, there's nothing you can do. But yeah, that like
I will say, Syndrome's secretary.
Yeah, that's another crush right there.
That was a big one.
Yeah. What was her name?
Mirage?
Yeah. I guess that sounds right. But man, I don't know. Syndrome's villain, he would become a hero by unleashing this big monster, and then like he just can control it, so he's gonna look like he's the only one who can defeat it. Like, I don't know, pretty, like, instead of just being bad to be bad, he wanted to be, like, he was a villain, but he wanted to be seen as a hero, because that's all he's ever wanted. And to be better than Mr. Incredible now, he's like, I'm better, like, I don't know, when he just being able to...
It's a similar arc to the villain in Watchmen. I'm excited for us to read and watch that for our comic book movie journey, because the villain in that, it's a fun twist, so I won't spoil it, but wants to be seen as a hero. Concocts a villain and tries to take it down. Pete Docter provides additional voices in this movie. Director of Soul and Monsters, Inc.
Oh my God. Okay. Wow. Yeah. Keep coming back to that. Yeah, Soul's definitely gonna have to find its way into my list the more I'm thinking about it. Because
the Incredibles is the first one that you've said so far where I'm like, I might have to make some adjustments. I love The Incredibles. It's an incredible movie, dude.
Yeah, when you said it like kind of one of the best comic, like, superhero just move, like
the very premise of it is brilliant. Like a superhero who's suffering a midlife crisis because he misses the golden days where he was a superhero, and so he tries to get back into it, but he's being manipulated. Like, just a brilliant premise.
When he's going through the montage of like working out and like life's good, like they're making money finally and like things are finally going their way. It's like ba-da-na, da, ba-da-na, da, ba-da-na,
yeah, shit.
Ba-da, like that song. I actually was like, I don't know. It's just a really good feel good song. Like if you ever need to just feel like you're doing.
When
good.
he's got his mojo back. He's in his Mojo Dojo Casa house and he's like grabbing Miss Parr by the. Mrs. Incredible by her waist and like pulling her in for a kiss and shit. Like, yeah, I'm like, this man's living large. His little like golden days room with like the secret message that self-destruct.
His old suit that's just in the frame, and it's like, but then that's how she knows that he's been getting out again. Is she finds like, or Helen finds like a hair on it or whatever or something like that. Yeah, I don't know, just a lot. That movie, like a lot happens in that movie. That's actually nuts. Like they figure out that he's working or for someone. They have to go to Syndrome's Island to get there. They have this jet that gets shot down, and then freaking the mom turns into a boat and dashes the motor. And then, like
the first time she has to expand a full force field around them.
Missile? Yeah, man. I don't know. It was just really cool. And like the final when they all like team up together. Like to fight Syndrome, and Frozone's even back helping him out. I don't know. That's just, you're right in saying it might be one of the best superhero movies just ever. But yeah, like it is great. Like it doesn't really fit like the rest of the Pixar movies for me, and I don't know. That's why I had it at the top of this kind of mini top 11 here for this episode.
I love it.
But yeah,
I love it. Yeah. All right. Well, then I'm going to top off mine at 90, another 2023 movie here. I've got Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny as directed by James Mangold. Every Indiana Jones movie made my top 100. All 5 of them are in here. This is just the bottom one for me. It's caught a bad rap, and I completely understand why. This character has had a couple suitable endings. The Last Crusade could have been the last Indiana Jones movie. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull very well could have been the last Indiana Jones movie. This one, there's no fucking way they can possibly do a 6th. It's like, and they won't. They certainly won't. Harrison Ford is, I think, officially hung it up as Indy, and I don't think they'll bring that character back in any other capacity. Nor should they. I think that character should live and die with Harrison Ford. I think that should be it. But I thought it was for me, it was a wonderful send off to a character I've loved for years. It was my first Indiana Jones movie in theaters, and it was so special for that reason. I saw it in an IMAX theater alone. There was nobody else in my theater. It was 11 p.m. at night, and I got to just sob at the end of the movie. It was so great, just because it's sending off one of my favorite heroes and one of my favorite actors ever. Like, it's just like Felt like a
Yeah.
moment, like, we watched Raiders for the 52-year journey, and
Mhm.
the way that he's contemplating Marion Ravenwood, and they brought Sala back and stuff, like it was
Oh,
very fun. It was just a wonderful movie, and it's not nearly as dynamic as the other movies in its action. I think that people's complaints about it in that regard are fair. But Phoebe Waller-Bridge brought a new character to life. So fucking fun. Mads Mikkelsen was the villain. Once played Galen Erso, and fucking Kaecilius, Doctor Strange, the guy whose eyes get all.
yeah.
Mads Mikkelsen is that as well, but he's a Nazi in this one.
Oh, you loved
Nazi
it.
scientist in this one, which always makes for an easy, hateable villain.
Mm-hmm.
And Mads Mikkelsen plays it really well, and I love me some Harrison Ford, and love me some Indiana Jones. So I thought it was a good send off for the character. They finally play with the way those movies escalate in terms of like outrageousness. It already starts pretty crazy with Raiders, with the Lost Ark, the Ark of the Covenant, and the power of God. But then they're doing like rituals in Temple of Doom. Then you've got the Holy Grail in the Last Crusade, which grants eternal life. And then in the fourth one, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, you're dealing with interdimensional aliens. And then in the fifth one, how do you elevate above that? Time travel. So, Dial of Destiny. It's a fun one.
Nice.
And I think people being hypercritical of it are losing sight of the fun in the Indiana Jones franchise.
Adventure movies. I don't know.
First one,
adventurous?
Very adventurous. It was the first one that didn't have Steven Spielberg behind the camera, and you can feel it.
Mm-hmm.
You certainly can. But it doesn't make it a whole lot worse than the others by any means.
I feel like you can just tell Harrison, he likes the character of Indiana Jones.
He loves Indiana Jones, and it bled through so hard, and it was so interesting. Like, I love the trope of watching our heroes age and kind of feel like they're past their prime, and then try to find their way back to that heroicness. Like The Last Jedi does it really well with Luke Skywalker, and I think Dial of Destiny does it great with Indiana Jones. He's an old man. You don't fake being 80. Harrison Ford is 80 years old. And he's playing it.
Wow.
But I enjoy the movie a great deal, so it had to make my top 100. As it was just a point of fact. I appreciate all the Indiana Jones movies at kind of a different level, so like they're kind of spread throughout my list. And this is just going to be the first one here in the first episode. So nice. We'll return to the Indiana Jones movies to be sure.
I got that
concludes it.
Only seen the first one, and I got it in here. But it'll be a little bit later.
I fucking adore the indie movies, man. They're some of my favorites ever. So they all had to be here. It was a point of fact. But with that, you want to go back over 90 through 100 real quick?
Yeah, top to bottom or bottom to top?
Go top to bottom, 90 to 100.
All right, 90. I got The Incredibles. And 91. Let me screen IMDb. It might be a little easier or my letterbox. There we go. 91. I had Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. 92. The Cat in the Hat. 93. Monsters Inc. 94. Cars. 95. Sky High. 96. The Polar Express. 97. Over the Hedge. 98. Aliens in the Attic. 99. Jingle All the Way. And 100. Zathura, A Space Adventure.
Lovely. I got 90, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. 91, John Wick Chapter 4. 92, Gladiator. 93, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. 94, Aliens. 95, Burn After Reading. 96, Moonstruck. 97, Soul. 98, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. 99, Bottle Rocket. And 100, Bringing Up Baby. And with that, you should head on over to part 2, baby. We got the 80s out also today. So you're going to go ahead and check that out after this. I promise you're going to have to, just because why not? It's there. Might as well listen to it. As always, we are continuing our comic book movie journey through film this Friday. This week is Fantastic Four, which got a brief mention earlier this episode in conversation with The Incredibles. We got the Game of Thrones rewatch going on right now. Earlier this week was season 4's finale, and next week will be season 5's premiere. Extremely excited for that. Go ahead and shiggity check that out. If you would, head to patreon.com/PennyBloomPod, where you'll find over 50 hours of exclusive content. For $3 a month, you can support this podcast financially, which is huge because it costs me money and I don't make any off of it unless it's over there. Head to Twitter, follow at PennyBloomPod, follow on Instagram and Threads at PennyBloomPodcast. Remember to leave a 5-star rate and review wherever you might be listening, and to download, please. That means a lot to us. We're talking about movies, and I'm going to say this every episode of our 10 parts here until the strike is resolved. The actors and writers get what they want. Support SAG-AFTRA and support WGA any way you can, and mostly what you can do is just post on social media that you stand with them. So, keep spreading the awareness. Follow SAG-AFTRA and WGA guidelines, and if it eventually comes to the point where they're like, hey, if you run a podcast and you're covering movies, stop. Then we're gonna stop, but they haven't said that yet, so we're gonna keep doing what we're doing. But yeah, so just, they deserve to be paid for the work that they do and the joy that they give us. We got at most 200 movies we're going to talk about here that we adore. And I don't think we'll quite get there. We'll certainly have repeats, but like the potential for 200 movies, like it's a lot of films. And every single person who worked on them, bottom to top of the bill, deserves to be paid for their work. So just stand with them and fuck studios. With that, I was Colton Robertson. I was joined by Joseph George. Thank you very much, homie.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Oh, and it's always a pleasure to have you. Something I want everybody to think about when you're listening to this. Think about it as the world's or our favorite and most recommended movies. Just big recommendation list. Watch as many movies as you can. It's so much fun to watch movies. And, I can't recommend any of these highly enough. Everything, you should watch all of these movies. That's I have no doubt about that. But remember, peace, love, and bloom. And always praise Keanu Reeves.